Up next. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to switch over right now. Thank you very much, Brenda, for the MRI for the day. We're going to go over to Tracy Brown Howard as she does Meet the McCains.
See, you know what, Dion? That's okay. I ain't going to even play with you today. Today on Meet the McCains, see, that's why I don't play with Dion.
Don't mess with Dion.
Today on Meet the McCains, we're going to talk about in sickness and in health. Wow, that's the vow. So, I take you to be my husband or my wife from this day forward, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, to death do us part. So we got to see if that vow is really genuine or is it just the words that we saying. So today I'm going to ask you, why is this vow so important in your marriage?
Baby, because we are a covenant marriage. And in our covenant marriage, we took those vows seriously when we stated them. It wasn't that we was just, okay, this is what everybody else say to do. Now, if something happened, God forbid, happened to Rick or myself, we're there for each other. It's a promise that we made, and we're going to adhere to it.
I would definitely say, it's a covenant marriage, and it's just being obedient to the will of the Lord. You're an example. I always look at our marriage as an example. So when it's saying in sickness and health, you need to know that you have to be there for all scenarios, for all things. As Brandy was talking about going through the darkness and coming to the light, there's going to be some, difficult times, and there are going to be some good times. It's how you deal with both of them. People think good times are so easy. Yeah, it can be easy, but it takes a lot to get to that point. And so there are going to be some trials and tribulations that you're going to go through in a marriage or in a relationship that you've got to be able to be both parts. You have to be there when things are bad and when things are good, because I guarantee you, when you can overcome the negative things, the sickness, the trials and tribulations in life, and then it comes again because you were there before, it's easier to make it through the next time.
And I was watching this weekend the Teddy Pendergrass story, and I saw when Teddy got hurt, he was married and everything. So it made me think of this. If something happened to either one of you and you were unable to feel your part in the marriage, would you stay in that marriage?
Absolutely. I would, because I really do believe that God, whatever I'm lacking from that, and most people think, like with the Teddy Pendergrass, he didn't have no feelings below, God will fulfill that. But I know in his case, his wife divorced him, and he moved on to the other wife. But in our case, baby, I'm in it to win it to the end, right?
And I got caught off looking at something on here on Facebook, but would you repeat that for me again?
No, I was saying how, like in the Teddy Pendergrass story, he got hurt, and he was married. So my question was, if something happened to either one of you, and you were unable to fulfill your part in the marriage, would you stay in your marriage? Well, I guess if something happened to your other part, would you stay?
I think marriage is not about the parts or things that you can't do. It's about being together on the things that you can do. And I always believe that no matter what Brenda can't do, it's my obligation to do those things. And so if there's something that she can't do, and a lot of times you're thinking, what if that person cannot fulfill sexual obligations and things of that nature? And people are, I don't know if I want to be around that. Well, if that person is only a sex obligation for you, then you're not in a covenant relationship.
Right.
That is a part of the covenant. You get a benefit from that, but you don't leave somebody because they can't perform sexually, or they can't walk, or they can't talk, or they can't think, or now they're handicapped. You don't leave a person because of that, because now what you're doing is you're removing yourself from a blessing from God, because God is still in that relationship. And so now you decide that I'm going to move myself from that relationship because this person now can't perform. Then now you're saying that God can't do exceedingly abundantly what he can actually think. And so you're now saying that I'm removing God from the equation as well. And so what I'll tell anybody is that if someone is not able to do what they've done before, you always have a God that can do everything.
All right. So why do you feel that a lot of couples don't take this vow seriously?
A lot of couples don't even have that vow in their wedding ceremony.
Really?
Yes, really. They don't. Because they're not going to adhere to it, because they figure that's too traditional. The younger generation, they write their own vows and they exclude that purposely. And for what's sicker, what's the other part of the vow?
Richer or poor.
Because it's
death
so,
do his part.
it's so easy to discard a marriage now because I don't like the way he looks at me anymore. I mean, they don't even work for it anymore. So it's like, why have it in there if I'm not going to actually live by that law?
Yeah.
But we're old-fashioned, so I'm like, that was in our vows. That
I would say that, either if they have it in it or not, a lot of people don't want to adhere to it because they're already looking for an out.
Yeah.
It's like, if this don't work, you don't get into marriage and say, if it doesn't work. Marriage is supposed to be something you do for a lifetime. And so I don't want to be able to say these things, or even if I say it, I don't adhere to it, because my feelings about what you do to me is more important than a biblical vow that I've uttered to someone. And so a lot of times we get married in the church because it's traditional and it looks nice. But when we hear the words of what we're supposed to do in a marriage, we don't want to hear that, And so I think that a lot of times people are getting so used to being modern about how they do things. And if I'm already looking to walk out of something, I'm not going to adhere to something that's going to make me stay in it.
Right.
And so it's unfortunate that happens. But I would just say to most people that even though you are not following the vows, which, we know that, what the biblical vows are, when you get married in a covenant relationship, with all marriages, a covenant relationship to God, follow the vows or not, there's still a God that's looking at what you do.
That's true. So, it's really important that we continue to love and be with each other through sickness and health. And I know after 22 years, you guys have truly done that. So I just like to thank you for that advice.
What's that? We what is that word again? We flicked or fleek?
You're
y'all on fleek.
Yes, you are.
You just say on point.
Hey, it's my show. I can mess up if I want to.
Well, this week you are definitely on fleek in the sickness and health department, and we're just going to join you guys back next week, and we'll learn more about meeting the McCain.
All right. Well, thank you
That was
very much,
awesome.
Tracy. So we're going to have